me as a dad, I want to be able to practice what I preach, not only as a father, but as a pharmacist too, because, there's a reason why health comes before care. And if you look at the healthcare industry as a whole, I would say it's kind of lacking in the fitness aspect, if you know what I mean.
Welcome to the Full Fueled Podcast. Welcome to the Full Fueled Podcast.
Welcome to the podcast.
With your host, Matt Tack.
With your host, Matt Tack.
Your host, Matt Tack.
Who are you?
I'm Dr. Alfred Alessi.
Dr. Alfred Alessi.
Dr. Alfred Alessi.
They know by now, bro. They know by now.
I'm going to set what the new normal looks like in my life.
You're not limited by your genetics.
You have a superpower that is lifting people up. Dude, you
The only way we're going to get the word out is with you. Live full fueled. Live beyond limits, baby. Let's go.
Welcome to the Full Fueled Podcast with your host, Matt Tack.
And Dr. Alfred Alessi.
What's going on, brother?
Back. What's up, my guy? We got a good one today.
We do.
We got a really cool guest. So I met this dude at Fit Fest. It was this CrossFit bodybuilding event here in Tampa back in like August, I think. And this dude's out there, buff dude, looking jacked, selling pre-workouts and promoting his product. And so we just start chatting, and really cool guy, definitely aligned in a lot of ways. So Dr. Taylor Martin, we brought him on the show here to kind of just talk about, the brand you're building, man, the mission. You're like us, you're a dad. So I know you got a couple kiddos, and you're a hustler, you're an entrepreneur, but you also work. So you're doing a lot of stuff, man. So my hat's off to you for that. But thanks for coming on the show, bro.
Yeah, man. Perfect. I'm really excited to be here.
Heck yeah. So, man, give us a little background about yourself. How'd you get into, obviously you're a pharmacist, but you're obviously into fitness and exercise. And so you went the route of starting a supplement brand, which is not easy. We know. Give us a little background, man. What's the culmination? Where'd your story start?
Oh, man. So it started all the way back in pharmacy school. Basically, I'm going to take it all the way back. May of 2014, I met my now beautiful wife, my first year of pharmacy school. Fast forwarding, I graduated in 2017. We then got married 2019, and her and I, of course, meeting at a gym. We've always been about fitness, you know what I'm saying? So basically during the pandemic, my wife was sitting around on her computer thinking, gosh, babe, I wish I could create my own pre-workout, because she had taken all the pre-workouts before. However, she wanted something without all the artificial sweeteners, colors, dyes, added sugar that actually tasted good and worked. So that was March of 2020. And after she said that, I was like, well, gosh, babe, why don't we? So it was that day we gathered all of our favorite supplements, put them on the dining room table. As a personal trainer, they're pretty, up to date on what ingredients should be on there. Then as a pharmacist, when I was working during the pandemic, I had time to look up all the randomized control trials at those dosage forms. And then from March of 2020 to November 20th of 2020, we then launched. So from idea on the dining room table to physical product in hand, that's kind of the span. And then from there, next week on this Wednesday, it's 4 years. So Here we are.
Man, were you always like into fitness growing up and stuff, or athlete, or what was kind of your background there?
So I had a little complex from middle school because this one girl always used to call me skinny. And, I had this realization that, she's right. And I need to take my fitness more seriously. So since then, I've always kind of been working out. And being that my wife and I, met at the gym, we just always, promise each other that we're going to stay fit no matter what. Because, as you guys may have known or seen, that when people, get married, they get comfortable, they have kids, and they let themselves go. There's just no way. There's just no way around it. And that happens. So with my wife and I, we always wanted to have fitness as kind of our core value, and making sure we're teaching that to our kids as well.
That's why we're starting this, bro. I'm sending this to you, by the way.
Oh, let's go.
Jack Dad Club. That's why I asked for your address. Because, man, that's what we're trying to do here with this whole thing. This whole mission is how do we get guys to take back their health, take back their their athlete, and be kind of be alpha dads, man, not passive.
Right. Yeah, we had this guy on our podcast a couple of weeks ago too, and he was just he was a military guy. But I mean, I think he said he was in his 60s now. And he has that's been a non-negotiable, it's core value within him that it's a non-negotiable, right? I get up, I perform, and I keep performing.
Yeah.
So he sets different levels of competition, crazy levels of competition on an annual basis. I think he does multiple, in a given year. I mean, it's pretty friggin' wild. But what are some of the ways that you train with your wife? I like that idea, that collaboration. if you do even train with her. But there's so many times where like so many people, you know, within a household, especially if you're married, it's like completely different. But you know, how do you make that work?
So I will say right now, like pre-kids, it was different. We would go to the gym every now and then together, but now with the kids, like it is super tough. And I really have to give it to my wife. She is literally the glue that holds the house together. So for me on any given day, I usually wake up 3, 4, 5 a.m., go work out, go to work, and then go do like a demo for our company afterwards. And then basically as we speak right now, my wife is downstairs in our little workout room with our baby girl Nala working out. And so we are definitely on separate schedules, and that's just because kind of the way our life is set up. So every now and then, especially like on my birthday or anniversary, like we make sure that my dad watches our kids and we get a workout in together, because that kind of reminds us of when, you know, we were at Oregon State working out together.
That's cool, man.
It's cool.
That's a season of life, right? We both know that, right? Like you got to ebb and flow, and that's what kind of makes it. Have you always considered yourself kind of like an entrepreneur, or is this out of your comfort zone?
So in all honesty, I got into pharmacy because I literally thought I could save the world through medicines. Now, there's a time and a place for medication, but at the end of the day, it really does come down to what you tell yourself, how often you exercise, and what you're eating. Now, being that we are in the supplement industry, I just want people to know that Thentic is not just about pushing pre-workout. Like Thentic, authenticity is thrown around way too much in the fitness industry. For us, we want to be, you know, for me as a dad, I want to be able to practice what I preach, not only as a father, but as a pharmacist too, because, you know, there's a reason why health comes before care. And if you look at the healthcare industry as a whole, I would say it's kind of lacking in the fitness aspect, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of what we talk about, man. And obviously, I'm kind of on the other side of medicine than you. I'm a chiropractor. I do natural medicine, functional medicine, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I agree, though. I think you go to your practitioner, your GP, or your primary care doc. They look at your levels and they recommend medication. But when do they ask, like, oh, are you working out? Or, like, what's your diet like, right? That's usually the thing that's not asked. Like, are you moving your body, right?
Bingo.
So, you know, what you are doing, what we're doing is we're trying to shake that up. We're trying to get back to, like, what are the basics? I just made a post on Instagram about this. Like, before you even think about the cool stuff, even before you even think about the pre-workouts, it's like, are you even just moving? What are your baseline fundamentals? Did you move your body today? Did you eat whole foods? Did you sleep 7 to 8 hours, right? Before you even tap into the cool shit that we like to talk about, did you do the basics, you know? So how is being a pharmacist and then thinking that way, like, what do you notice in the industry? Are you kind of an outlier?
So for me, when I do counseling on medications, I'm one of the only pharmacists that says, you know, this is only going to work in combination with a good diet, right? Because too often I see people coming in with their milkshakes, getting their blood pressure meds and their diabetes meds. And I'm just like,
yeah,
it's different from like an aspect of education behind the counter, right? Than if I were to like see you at a gym at a demo, right? Because some people, when they experience, you know, trying Thentic supplements at a demo or a gym, they're like, is this going to help me lose weight? And then I just like have this thing in my head. I'm like, okay, what actually am I going to explain to them? I'm like, well, are you eating your protein? Are you drinking enough water? Because if those basics aren't covered first, then let's worry about something else first.
Right.
Yeah, that's so true. I was going back a little bit too, and then the combo that in, you know, my thoughts on that are like everything is so systemic in the entire process, like the way we believe. And I was thinking even through the election period of like, how about like we all come together and see it as like, how can we just be these friggin' warriors, right? Like who's the guy? And it was kind of like issued a little bit by JFK Jr., but like coming in there kind of with that thesis, but like that element of how are you incorporating this on a daily basis? Like it, you know, you can break off from work and do that. You can be intentional about your nutrition and do that. All these things, but like it just comes back down to play is like, oh, I want the system to tell me what to do. Like I still want the milkshake and I just prescribe me the pills, right? And those things. But systemically, if we came through like to the foundation of it all, It's like, no, you need to do, like, it's pretty easy to do those things. But I'll tell you this. So in culmination of me saying this was, I work out and I love your pre-workout. I love pre-workouts because it does help me lose fat because it gives me that extra energy, to get through a day. Right. Cause a lot of people systemically, again, their biggest excuse is they're going to be tired at the end of the day, right, for a workout. And so when you utilize something like that, it definitely helps you a little bit in like the promotion of that. So actually, if I like had to encourage somebody to use one thing, it's like, yeah, take a little pre-workout.
There we go.
I agree, man. And it's like, okay, so let's get into it a little bit. All right. So I got it right here. I just took a little dry scoop on Cam because that's how I roll. Talk us through, man. Like what, you wanted to keep the product natural. I know you told me that.
Right.
There's no artificial anything in here. I mean, it's beetroot powder and then natural flavors, like as far as like the extra stuff, but go through kind of like how you guys came up with the choice for the supplement facts, right? Because it's pump based, but then it's also stem. So
right.
This is just one of the products. You have a non-stem too?
Yes, we have a non-stem too. But basically kind of how like we got into all this is my wife, when she was like 18 or 19, she used to buy each one of these ingredients and then mix in her own concoction and drink it that way. That's kind of what fueled her to say, gosh, I wish I could create my own pre-workout. And of course, she wanted citrulline for the good pump. She wanted the beta-alanine to help with the muscular endurance. But the biggest thing that she wanted was none of the like red dye 40s and all this stuff because, you can have everyone on the planet saying, no, it really doesn't do this. But I don't think that red dye 40 or anything with a number in it can be good for your health, right? And then with all the sucralose, aspartame, acetylsulfame. Now, don't get me wrong. I have my Snickers every now and then. We have our Halloween candy, but something that you're taking on a daily basis, I truly believe, based on the studies that I've seen, with continued use, it can disrupt the good bacteria in your gut. But when you're using stevia or allulose, natural sweeteners, right, it's not going to have that same effect. However, if there is data that comes down the road 10 years from now saying that it does the same thing, well, then we'll just pivot to something else. So that's kind of like the whole aspect. My wife was really self-conscious about that. And that's why I wanted to incorporate the good ingredients that you can take on a daily basis that actually work. Now, you were saying about the caffeine. I know you guys have tried other pre-workouts, but just bear with me here. With our pre-workout and the caffeine, because we paired it with L-theanine, there's more of a smooth taper up and smooth taper off. And a lot of people have said the other pre-workouts that I tried, I crashed halfway through my workout. I wanted to punch a hole in the drywall, but I didn't really experience that with your guys. And I was just like, yes.
Yeah, let's double down on that because that's something I talk to patients about, right? Like people come in here and we're just educating, right? It's always education. And like, man, like I just can't quit coffee. And I'm like, well, you're getting the reason you drink 5 cups a day is because you drink one, then you crash. Then you drink one, then you crash. Then you drink one, then you crash. And so the L-theanine, like you just said, that plus if you put a little like salt, like some sodium in there too, that is like you talked about, like more of a gradual rise and then a slow taper off versus that spike. So
yeah. So with that, I cannot quote the exact study, but they were basically saying that when you have L-theanine at the 300 or 350 milligram mark, it just basically levels off the caffeine, so you don't get that huge spike. Now, like you were saying, people that want to get away from caffeine or drink 5 bangs, their Starbucks foo-foo drink in the morning, and they want something in the evening, that's why we have the non-stim, so without caffeine. But we always get the question, well, how does it work if it doesn't have caffeine? You're in for a treat. So instead of the caffeine, we put teacrine. Teacrine is basically going to utilize the same pathways in your brain as caffeine, but it's not going to keep you up all night. So it's still going to hit the serotonin, dopamine, but it just won't keep you up all night. That's why a lot of my dad friends like to use that in the evening because they have their coffee or caffeine in the morning and they work out in the evening and it works just fine for them.
Teacrine is from green tea, or where does it come from?
Yep. It's extracted from the green tea leaf.
Got it. So they extract it minus the caffeine because green tea can have some caffeine in it too.
Right.
So is the non-stim the same product, just minus the caffeine?
So a little bit yes and no. So in the non-stim, we also have the lion's mane in there, and it's a little bit smaller container. The reason being is that in order to make up for that caffeine effect, it's a little bit more to manufacture. So therefore, we had to decrease the serving size a little bit. So it has 20 servings versus 25 in the stim.
Got it.
It's good
Nice.
stuff.
And then what other products you guys working? Because I know you have a protein too.
Yes, so we have okay, well, let me just start. Before, we have a plant-based protein. Don't get me wrong, I love my meats and cheeses. I am a red meat eater, but based on our geographic location and the increased rise of everyone bloating and getting gas from whey, we wanted to go with plant-based. So we do pea protein isolate. We also have 24 grams in there, as well as digestive enzymes, organic superfood blend. And what we have noticed is, in regards to plant protein, people really love our plant protein, especially because of the taste. And then, of course, they don't get that upset stomach, what have you.
So one thing that we've really enjoyed in our protein, and something I'm interested to hear your opinion about, is we use a hydrolyzed, and I've seen it have really, really low impact on my gut, and that's why I just continually use it. Have you ever heard of it? What are your thoughts on it?
So I haven't done too much research on the whey side or the hydrolyzed. However, when we do come out with the whey, I'm going to look into the best one that we can find so it doesn't cause that upset stomach. So you were saying that other ways you've tried, it upsets your stomach, but this one does not?
Yeah, for sure. There's like zero bloating, the breakdown of it. And honestly, I would say in terms of like the overall chemistry of the protein and the bioavailability of it, I've been using it for coming up on a full year now. And I have honestly seen pretty rapid gains from it. I was actually pretty thin earlier this year. So, some of those whey proteins, it seems like the bioavailability of them, they actually don't stick. But with this, I'm catering it towards a little bit more that it is like less impact on the gut, and I'm able to utilize that, that protein synthesis a lot faster post workout. So that's just something that I've seen. It has just like made taken rapid effects this year from the hydrolyzed side.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's going to be time for me to try one of those because people have been asking like, hey, when you coming out with a whey? So good luck on that. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
it's a good one. And I mean, this guy over here is taking like 10 scoops a day or something. At that point, you're going to hit a tolerance at some point.
Well, I got to hit. My goal on a daily basis is to get about 225 grams of protein in. So to get that through whole food sources, I'd just be eating all day. And with a hydrolyzed, like I literally can drink it, I can drink it like water, like I guzzle it. So it's a lot easier for me to get in 2 or 3 shakes than it would be sitting down and eating a steak or, 8-ounce chicken, fillet or something like that. It's just, I still do eat, but I just don't want to feel like heavy all day where I feel like I have to break down that, the whole food. So it has helped me in that capacity.
See, it's crazy you say that because it's honestly wild the amount of times that I go to a place and then after the workout, I'm like, hey, do you guys want to try some protein? And they're like, oh, no, thanks. And they're like, I eat all my protein. And I'm like, okay.
Not possible.
They're not easy enough.
For like, how tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
So we're the same height. For a 6'2" guy, I'm roughly around like 205 pounds right now.
Yeah.
That is, to get that much in whole food sources is rather difficult to do with and not feel heavy all day. If I can counteract that a little bit, I hands down am going to take a protein shake just to feel a little bit lighter. And that's the way I hit my targets every day. I was like, protein's the most important thing to me. So, and it should be to most people, all people, really.
Exactly.
Sweet, man. And then, so the pre-workouts, the protein, are you guys thinking of anything else? Do you have any other supplements on the line?
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked that. So we also have an intra workout. Now this one right here, it does taste different. I might have to send you guys this, but with this intra, it is the most underrated product. And the reason being is that we have your electrolytes, we have your BCAAs that are fermented, meaning they come from plant-based. If it doesn't say fermented or instantized, that means it literally comes from duck feathers or hair, which a lot of people didn't know. So that's why our intra tastes a little bit different. And then we also have Hika in there, which helps with delayed onset muscle soreness, and then tart cherry extract. And our EAAs are dosed based on the recommended daily value of a 200-pound male. And I looked at our dosage forms of our intra versus everybody else on the market, and ours are a lot higher. It's just getting over the plant-based taste is what kind of gets people. But I'm telling you, like this product is a cheat code for recovery.
All right.
Nice, man. Do you put creatine in there as well, or?
No, so our next product coming out here soon is going to be creatine. And so that's kind of our next one, but you can still stack it with creatine. It's just that our recovery product, like it's an 18-gram scoop. So if we were to add creatine in there, that'd be a whopper.
That'd be a lot. Yeah. We recently just dove into this a little bit in terms of how creatine can be used the most effectiveness. And it's funny you say that. Intra-activity is actually the best source of creatine consumption.
Yeah. So when we come out with that, we're going to be like, hey, stack this with that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing right now. Like I do an intra stack. It's an EAA, I do creatine, and then I do some dextrose powder just for that, that burning fuel. That's like my intra stack, but I'm interested to try yours too. I'll buy some here. Cause dude, so that was the big thing was BCAAs were like marketed like crazy. And then people started realizing that it's the EAAs that are more important. But when you pair them together, the BCAAs are part of that profile too. So that's a really cool combo.
Exactly.
Nice.
Good stuff.
So you said then next you got coming out, what, 2 more products? You got the creatine and a recovery, or what's?
So currently we have the strawberry kiwi pre, non-stem pink lemonade pre, island paradise intra workout, and then the chocolate and vanilla plant proteins. Our next one is going to be the creatine, which is going to hopefully come out within the next 60 days, knock on wood.
Cool.
And then from there, it's just kind of like, we love reaching out to our consumers saying, hey, what do you guys want next? Mm-hmm. Because, I can sit here all day and talk with my wife and our chief of marketing about what we're going to do. But every time I go someplace, everyone is always asking, do you guys have creatine? Do you guys have creatine? And I'm like, okay, if we had it right now, would you buy it? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, bet.
Yeah. And do you do this full time, or are you still a pharmacist?
No, man. So I'm still a pharmacist. So I work 40 hours a week. I go to work right here at 9:30. And then after that, it's just 40 hours a week are gone. And then when I'm not working, my days off, I'm doing the demos. For example, I had Monday and Tuesday off this week. So Monday and Tuesday, I did a demo in the morning, demo in the evening. And then during the day, I was fulfilling orders, doing the social media. And so it's a lot, man. It's definitely a lot. But
he's our kind of dude, though, bro. He's the grinder.
He's a hustler right there. I love that.
We got.
And then, are you mainly direct to consumer? Are you on Amazon?
Yeah, so we're on Amazon, Walmart, bodybuilding.com, and this is all through word of mouth. So I'm very grateful to be here because most brands that are just word of mouth, self-funded, are not necessarily on those type of platforms. But I'm just so grateful for everyone else's support and the work that we put in to get on those platforms. And so I don't know if you guys can see this, but this right here.
Love that.
Is the place.
Inventory stack.
We're running kind of low on some things, which is good, but I still fulfill all of our orders from the house.
Nice.
I mean, there's based on what you just said, there's 2 reasons you're on this show. One, because you're a real dude, and I like the hustle, and you fit into our kind of the kind of guys we are. But it's a great product too, right? Like if this wasn't a good product, like we probably wouldn't be having you on the show. So we want to get that out, and we're all about spreading, like we're not making money off of you right now. So we're just spreading the word on this because it helped us. We enjoy it. So let's share it with other people.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course, bro.
For sure, man. Love the product, and definitely, man, wish the best to you. I know a lot of success coming here in the near future.
And so on the personal side, man, so your dad, 2 kids, I got 2 kids, he's got 3. So we get that too, man. How old are your kids?
So our firstborn, Milani, she is 3 years old. And then our newest one is 10 months, and baby Nala. And what I've realized is, I am caught up in this battle of trying to manage, my fitness, my time with my wife, my kids, the business, pharmacy. And what I've realized is I just need to stick this out because I know time is going to pass regardless. And that when they're of a certain age, based on the work that we put in now, we're going to be able to hopefully do things that we couldn't do had I just stayed where I was at. So that's kind of the struggle that I'm at. But the times that we do get together, I make sure to cherish them.
It's huge, man. All right, a couple girl dads on here, both of y'all.
For real.
3 girls. I got 2 boys. So.
I got 3 girls.
Yeah, man. Well, that's awesome, bro. That's what it's all about. It's like balance, That's kind of what we always kind of come back to here, man, is maintaining, right? Because, you put too much into one bucket, the other buckets, or what did you call it, Matt? The burners, right? You got one burner really high. You got to sacrifice in other areas. So making sure, like you said, staying present and coming back home to that, bro.
Yeah, that was one thing I had to do when my girls were really young and I was busy. Is my fitness actually did take a little bit more of a backseat. I train much different today than I did, 5 years ago. And it took more of a functional route where I did kettlebells, and that's all I did. And I had 45 minutes in the morning, and that was it, right? That was like my training, but I made sure that like that burner wasn't super high, but it was still there. And then the continuation, as I have a little bit more capacity now, they're a little bit older, but still enjoy raising 3 girls. It's been amazing.
I love it.
Tell our listeners, obviously you said you got the new products on the rise. That's exciting. I'm excited to see those and try them. Tell our listeners where they can find you, where they can find the products, follow you, kind of the journey and all that, man.
Yeah, perfect. So my Instagram handle personal is at dr.taylormartin, at Dr. Taylor Martin. And then our company Thentic is at Thentic Official. Those are on the Instagrams. And then our website is authenticnutrition.com. People are just like, well, how do you spell authentic? Well, just remember authentic without the AU. And if you just type in Thentic, hopefully we'll pop up. Those are where the products are coming. And my Instagram, I just try to lead by example. And then on the Thentic Official, we try to collab with as real like-minded people as possible.
Awesome, man.
Love that, man. Well, make sure you go check them out for everyone listening in to their website. We'll put everything in the show notes as well to make sure that we get some traffic over to you, brother.
Sure.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. As always, live full fueled, live beyond limits, baby.
Let's go.
We want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Nutrition Solutions. Head on over there, get high protein meals at your doorstep every week. With Full Field 15, you can get 15% discount code. Spread Farms, you can go over there right now, get beef delivered to your doorstep on ice. Phenomenal beef, and better than anything you're going to get at the grocery store. Get a 25% discount, on your first order. That's promo codes right directly on their website, so you can head on over there. And then, as always, our lead sponsor, Lessie Functional Health. It's in Tampa Bay. If you're in Tampa Bay and you want to get to a pain-free future and you want to live your most optimal life, head on over. We'll take care of you. Dr. Lessie and Dr. Rennie Noel are the best in the game. So
I'm also going to just say, like people who are really curious about the diet, the full field diet, the full field metabolic, anabolic program that we have, 3-month program. You're going to learn everything, right? We take you through how to work out, how to build maximum muscle, how to incorporate this diet for longevity. Like, we don't just do it for you. We teach you how to do it. So then after that 3 months, you go just live your life that way and live an optimal life. So if you're interested, fitness.fullfuel.com is where that's found at. And, you can learn all about that and then work with us like personally and, obviously optimize every aspect of your life.
welcome to the Full Field Podcast. I'm going to set what the new normal looks like in my life.
You're not limited by your genetics.
You have a superpower that is lifting people up.
So unfortunately, most businesses aren't going to use the highest quality ingredients.
What's your approach?
He's jacked.
I know he's jacked. That's why I'm asking him what he
I
trains.
don't think he lifts.
It's consistency in everything that we do that really compounds.
Only way we're going to get the word out is with you. Live full fueled, live beyond limits, baby.